What if something you trust to heal your body is quietly making it harder to heal? You see, honey has long been praised as nature's golden medicine. Drizzled into tea, stirred into warm milk, or taken straight from the spoon to soothe a sore throat or settle a restless night. But today, we're going to talk about the part no one tells you. The quiet combinations, the hidden habits, the small mistakes that can turn this ancient remedy into something that works against your body, especially after 60. Now, before we dive deep, let's take a breath together and ask the real question. Why does this matter more as we age? Because after 60, every bite and every sip matters a little more. Our digestion slows. Our nervous system becomes more sensitive. What once was an okay choice at 30 could now be the reason we wake up with gas, feel foggy at 10 a.m., or toss and turn through the night without knowing why. And honey, yes, that sweet, soothing nectar, can either be your ally or your quiet antagonist, depending on what you pair it with. So here's where we begin. Not with fear, not with guilt, but with curiosity. This video isn't about telling you to throw away your honey jar. It's about learning how to use it wisely, lovingly, and in rhythm with your body's true needs at this stage of life. We're going to uncover the 3 most common, but little-known mistakes that millions of older adults make when using honey. And then I'll guide you through the 3 best combinations that turn honey into the healing partner it's meant to be. And in between, I'll share a few quiet rituals you can add to your evenings, your mornings, even your tea time. That don't just help your body feel better, but invite you to slow down, to listen, to trust your instincts again. Because here's the truth. After 60, health isn't about big overhauls. It's not about strict rules or punishing diets. It's about the tiny adjustments, the warm water instead of boiling, the banana at night, the pause before a meal that remind your body, I'm still here, I still care. And that includes how we use honey. You may be someone who adds it to herbal tea before bed or mixes it into your morning smoothie. But did you know that mixing honey with something as simple as soy milk or hot black tea or even onions can completely cancel out its benefits? Or worse, trigger inflammation, bloating, or energy crashes. And yet, on the other side, just 1 spoonful of honey, when paired with cinnamon or warm milk or even daikon radish, can unlock better sleep, gentler joints, and more stable blood sugar. It's not about cutting things out. It's about aligning what you already do with what your body now needs. And that's what we explore here at Defiant Health, how to live wisely, tenderly, and powerfully beyond the age of 60. So before we go further, if this topic speaks to something in you, if you've ever wondered whether your night routine, your digestion, or your morning tea could be doing more for you, I ask you to take a moment and help us grow this circle of gentle knowledge. Click that like button, share this video with someone who might still be tossing and turning at 3 a.m., and hit subscribe. I'm on a mission to reach 1,000 subscribers, not just for the numbers, but so I can keep creating content that truly honors this sacred season of life. Every follow helps me stay here with you, week after week, sharing what I've learned, what I've lived, and what I believe can still help you feel vibrant, strong, and clear-minded. Because this isn't just about honey. It's about learning to listen to your own chemistry, about stepping out of autopilot and back into intention. It's about remembering that aging doesn't mean decline, it means refinement. And what you once ignored in your 40s, your body now whispers clearly in your 60s. Bloating after tea, restless legs at midnight, a mild cough that lingers longer than it used to. These aren't random, they're messages. And today, we learn how to answer them, kindly, simply, and one spoonful at a time. So stay with me. What you learn today may seem small at first, but when practiced daily with love and awareness, it can completely reshape the way you nourish your nervous system, your gut, your sleep, and even your heart. Because honey can heal, but healing starts with how we use it. Now, let's open the first door, the combinations that steal honey's strength, so we can let go of what no longer serves and make space for what truly does. Section 1. The combinations that sabotage healing. Honey plus soy tofu, soy milk. Your stomach isn't a chemistry lab, so let's stop treating it like one. That line isn't just a clever turn of phrase. It's a quiet truth many people over 60 have never been told. Because somewhere along the wellness journey, we were all handed two things and told they were healthy: soy milk and honey. But what we were never taught is what happens when those two worlds meet inside a slower, more sensitive digestive system. And that's where we begin today, with a combination that seems innocent but can quietly disrupt your body's rhythm, especially in later life. Tofu, soy milk, and other soy-based foods are often seen as the perfect protein for older adults. They're light, plant-based, easy to cook, and kind on cholesterol. Honey, on the other hand, is nature's golden medicine, calming, anti-inflammatory, comforting. But here's what few talk about. When you combine the cooling, dense nature of soy with the warming, enzymatic fire of honey, your body doesn't see harmony, it sees confusion. And at 60 or beyond, your digestive fire, what ancient medicine called your agni, isn't what it used to be. It no longer burns through clashing substances like it did in your 30s. It stumbles, it slows, it hesitates. And that hesitation shows up in bloating after breakfast, gas that lingers through lunch, fatigue by afternoon, and nutrient absorption that simply never happens. So let's get honest. As we age, digestion becomes a delicate ritual, not a battlefield. And every choice you make, what you mix, what you heat, what you drink first in the morning, either honors that ritual or disrupts it. When you pour honey into a glass of cold soy milk, or drizzle it over tofu in the hopes of making it healthy sweet, what you're really doing is confusing your gut. The acid in honey begins to react with the soy proteins, forming sticky compounds that are harder to break down. The natural enzymes in honey, which were supposed to help, become inactive in that environment. The cooling effect of soy and the heating effect of honey pull your stomach in two directions. And instead of feeling calm or nourished, you feel weighed down, maybe even a little foggy. And that fog doesn't go away because it's not just physical, it's metabolic, energetic, systemic. Now here's where it becomes especially important for older adults. Our ability to absorb minerals like calcium, iron, and magnesium decreases naturally over time. But when you introduce a food combination that blocks those minerals even further, you're not just feeling discomfort. You're potentially weakening your bones, your blood, your energy levels. And that's not a scare tactic. That's chemistry. Soy already contains natural compounds called phytates that reduce mineral absorption. Combine that with honey's acidity, and you're looking at a nutrient mismatch, where the very things you thought were helping you are quietly making it harder for your body to rebuild. This is a quiet but powerful lesson in intentional eating. Because healing after 60 isn't about adding more supplements. It's about removing the conflicts, about creating peace inside the body, between foods, between organs, between what you eat and how you feel afterward. And you can start by simply choosing not to pair honey with soy. Keep your honey for warm teas, for gentle cinnamon infusions, for daikon syrups. Use your tofu in savory dishes with ginger or steamed vegetables. Let each food do its work without interference. Because your stomach isn't a lab, it's a sacred space. And everything you place in it, especially now, needs to be with love, with clarity, and with understanding. Here's your note to remember. If you're over 60 and have been feeling bloated, sluggish, or slightly irritable after a healthy breakfast of soy milk and honey, it's not you. It's not your age. It's likely the combination. And changing just that, separating the two, spacing them out, could bring a surprising ease back into your digestion, your mood, and your sleep. That's the power of informed simplicity. That's the power of listening. Let's keep going. In the next part of this journey, we'll uncover another common mistake, one many people make every day with the best of intentions: tea and honey. But is your favorite calming ritual actually draining your minerals? Honey plus strong tea, green-black. It's a soothing image, isn't it? A warm mug in your hands, steam rising gently, a drizzle of golden honey melting into tea. Let's start with the science. Green and black teas are rich in compounds called tannins. Now, tannins aren't inherently bad. They're the reason tea has that dry, sharp flavor, and they carry antioxidant potential. But they also bind to iron, especially non-heme iron from plant-based sources, which is already harder for older bodies to absorb. And this matters deeply because after 60, our ability to absorb and retain key minerals like iron and magnesium naturally declines. That's just part of aging. But when we add a tannin-rich tea to the mix, especially combined with honey, but there's more. Let's talk temperature. Honey is packed with live enzymes, antioxidants, and anti-inflammatory compounds, but only when it's kept below a certain heat threshold. The moment honey is added to boiling tea, those enzymes, your body's tiny healing as it becomes just sweet sugar water. So even when the ritual feels nourishing, your body might not be receiving any of the benefits you intended. And that matters because these daily rituals aren't just for pleasure. They're how we, as aging adults, nourish our systems without overwhelming them. When those rituals are built on incomplete information, we don't just lose nutrients, we lose trust in our own choices. So let's reframe the situation. If you're someone who drinks honey tea, it's your body's way of whispering, please slow down. Please combine with more care. The goal isn't to stop drinking tea, it's to start preparing it differently. Let your tea cool slightly before adding hone. Because when digestion slows and nutrient needs rise, as they do after 60, how we prepare our foods matters as much as what we eat. A slight pause to let your tea cool, a little awareness around what tannins do to minera. So let me leave you with this. Your body is not confused, it's consistent. When it gives you fogginess, it's asking for minerals. When it gives you restlessness, it's asking for balance. And when it gives you fatigue, it may not be age. It may just that's not failure, that's feedback. And learning to listen to it, respond to it, and adjust with love, that's what healthy aging looks like. One cup, one change, one small pause at a time. Honey plus onion. We live in a time when health advice travels faster than we do. A short video goes viral, a neighbor shares a home remedy. A headline promises that a kitchen combo will fix everything. And one of those famous combinations you may have seen or even tried is honey and onion. It's often hailed as a powerful natural cough syrup. Slice an onion, drizzle honey on top, let it sit overnight, and sip the syrup for colds and coughs. Simple, natural, ancient. But here's the truth that never gets shared in those fast-moving posts. What may work for a younger, resilient digestive system can be far too aggressive for a body that's over 60 and already doing its best to maintain calm. Let's pause right here. If you've ever felt sharpness in your stomach after one of these mixtures, or your eyes began to water more than usual after trying a healing syrup, you're not imagining it, and you're not alone. Because onions, while powerful, are a pungent, sulfur-rich food. They stimulate heat, increase bile, and can aggravate the stomach lining, especially if your digestion has already become more sensitive due to age, medications, or a naturally thinning gut barrier. Pair that with honey, a warming agent in its own right, and what you get is not always harmony. For many older adults, it's irritation. It's belching, bloating, and a subtle agitation of the nervous system, especially if taken on an empty stomach or before bed, when the body is meant to be slowing down, not being stimulated. This is why we must return to the root of wisdom when it comes to home remedies. What heals one person may unbalance another, and after 60, your body has different thresholds, different needs, different responses. And here's the beautiful thing, this isn't a rejection of natural healing. This is a refinement of it. It's not about giving up on honey or on onion. It's about understanding their roles, their temperatures, their effects, and when they're best used separately. Onions can be wonderful in cooked meals. Lightly sautéed, they build warmth in the gut, support circulation, and provide gentle immune stimulation. Honey, when taken with warm, not hot, liquids or soothing herbs like cinnamon or ginger, can calm a cough without aggravating your gut. But when the two are forced together raw, especially in large amounts or on an already fragile digestive system, they can overwhelm more than they soothe. That's not bad advice. It's simply misplaced advice for this season of life. And recognizing that is a powerful step in your own healing journey. So let's return to trust, not in trends, but in the language of your own body. If you've ever felt worse after trying a remedy you were told would help, it's not failure. It's feedback. It's your body asking for gentler hands, slower steps, wiser combinations. It's asking not to be shocked by extremes, but nourished by balance. And you are not wrong for needing that. You are aging. You are refining. You are returning to what is true for you. In the bonus section, I'll offer you a beautiful, gentle alternative to the honey-onion combo, one that honors the intention of clearing the lungs and supporting your immune system, but with much less risk of irritation. Because nature gives us more than one path to healing, and the path that works for your body is the one worth following. Ready to discover that soothing replacement? Let's move forward together. Section 2. The combinations that nourish and support. Honey plus warm milk, best for sleep. You've tried melatonin. You've done the breathing exercises. You've turned off the screens. And still, some nights, the body doesn't know how to rest. The mind races, the legs twitch, the heart won't slow down. And here's what I want to offer you tonight. Not another fix, not another pill, but a return to a rhythm older than any modern method. A cup of warm milk, gently stirred with raw honey, taken with intention, not urgency, can signal to your nervous system that it is finally safe to let go. And this isn't folklore. It's supported by nutritional science and neurological truth. Let's start with what happens biochemically. Milk, especially warm milk, contains an amino acid called tryptophan. This humble compound is a precursor to serotonin, which in turn becomes melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. But here's the catch. Tryptophan needs help crossing the blood-brain barrier. That's where honey comes in. Just a spoonful of honey triggers a small, controlled release of insulin, allowing more tryptophan to reach your brain softly, steadily. You don't crash, you don't spike, you simply settle. And for those of us over 60, when hormonal balance shifts and sleep becomes fragile, this quiet combination can become a sacred nightly companion. But it doesn't stop there. There's an emotional ritual embedded in the process that modern life has forgotten. When you turn down the lights, soft amber, not blue. When you put on calming music, slow instrumental notes, maybe the sound of rainfall or a cello's hum. And when you stir that honey into the milk with both hands wrapped around the mug, you're not just drinking for sleep. You're retraining your nervous system to feel safe at night. You're telling your body, we're done now, you're allowed to stop. And that permission, spoken not in words but in warmth, becomes the most powerful sedative of all. For those with lactose sensitivity, the story doesn't end. Almond milk and oat milk still contain nutrients that calm the nerves and coat the stomach. Paired with honey, they become a gentle buffer against nighttime anxiety and muscular tension. The point isn't the milk itself. It's the warmth, the sweetness, the intentional pause. It's the act of taking 5 minutes to care for your future self, not by forcing rest, but by preparing the mind to invite it. And for those who have been waking up every 2 hours, who dread bedtime because of restless legs or vivid dreams or the feeling of not being able to shut down, let this be your experiment. Not a cure, but a return. Because sometimes the deepest healing doesn't come from something new, it comes from something simple, done consistently. A mug, a spoon, a song, a light, and the choice to give your body what it's been asking for all along, comfort, not control. This is more than just a drink. This is a conversation with your nervous system. This is you saying, you've done enough, you are enough, now rest. And that kind of message, repeated each night, doesn't just help you sleep better, it helps you live better. Honey plus cinnamon, for inflammation and memory. There's a certain quiet that comes with early morning light. Before the emails, before the television, before the world rushes in, there's a window, a chance to nourish not just your hunger, but your clarity. And here's where today's simple yet profound combination enters. A touch of honey, a pinch of cinnamon, and a warm mug in your hand. Not just breakfast. Brain care in a mug. Because after 60, we are not just feeding our bodies, we are protecting our minds, soothing our joints, and building new rhythms of restoration. Let's begin with what cinnamon actually does. Cinnamon is more than spice, it's circulation. It gently widens blood vessels, improving flow to the brain and limbs. That's not a metaphor. It's a physical shift, one that can support clearer thinking, reduce morning stiffness, and ease the slow heaviness many people feel when they first rise. At the same time, cinnamon is deeply anti-inflammatory. It helps calm the very root of many chronic aches, those inflamed tissues and joints that have carried decades of life, work, and stress. Now pair that with honey, nature's soft energy, rich in polyphenols and minerals, and you create a blend that doesn't jolt but lifts. A warmth that doesn't spike your blood sugar but sustains your focus. A flavor that doesn't just wake you up but draws you into stillness and presence. But this combination isn't just about nutrients. It's about ritual. When you stir honey and cinnamon into warm water or drizzle it over oats, you are taking two of the most ancient ingredients known to humans and choosing them daily as part of your aging story. And that story matters because memory, clarity, and mental flexibility don't just vanish with time. They can be fed, protected, and even regained through small, consistent habits. Your brain isn't gone. It's tired. And cinnamon, combined with honey, may be the gentle signal it's been waiting for. It's time to rise, it's safe to focus, you're not alone. Now, let's talk science with heart. Studies have shown that cinnamon can help reduce blood sugar levels and support insulin sensitivity, a benefit for those managing metabolic issues common after 60. It also supports neuroprotective functions, helping reduce oxidative stress in the brain. Honey, too, contributes to cognitive wellness. Its antioxidant content supports cellular repair and offers slow-burning fuel, critical for brain energy, especially in older adults who may skip breakfast or eat low-nutrient meals. And here's what makes the pairing so powerful. Cinnamon enhances the absorption of honey's compounds, and honey balances cinnamon's heating effect. The result? A synergy that gently awakens without overstimulating, a balance your body deeply understands. And here's your gentle reminder. This doesn't require perfection. You don't need a nutritionist's plan or expensive ingredients. You just need warm water, clean cinnamon, and raw or manuka honey. A moment of pause, a deep breath, a decision to take your memory seriously. Because every time you forget a word or lose track of a thought, it's not necessarily decline. It's often fatigue, inflammation, or imbalance. And this warm blend, it begins to soothe all three, one sip at a time. So the next time you prepare your morning coffee, consider this instead. Let cinnamon swirl like a memory you're choosing to keep. Let honey dissolve like the anxiety you're choosing to release. Let this mug remind you that you are not powerless against time, you are a participant in how you meet it. Let's continue now to the final pairing, the one that truly trains your nervous system to trust rest again. Because while mornings shape your mind, nights restore your strength, and the next section holds the remedy many of you have longed for. Are you ready to meet the drink that whispers, "It's safe to sleep"? Let's walk there together. Honey plus daikon radish, cough, and gut cleanse. There are remedies that shout, and there are those that whisper, quiet, steady, deeply effective over time. Honey with daikon radish belongs to the second kind, not flashy, not viral, but deeply known in Eastern kitchens and homes, especially among elders who understand that the best medicine often doesn't come with a label. It comes from tradition, from balance, and from the deep wisdom of food. If you've been waking with a dry cough, clearing your throat all day, or feeling tightness after meals that just won't release, this is the remedy your body might be asking for. Let's begin with the nature of daikon itself. Daikon is not just a white root. It's a cooling, detoxifying food that gently clears mucus from the lungs and soothes heat from the stomach. Its enzymes, particularly amylase and esterase, support digestion by helping break down starches and fats, making it incredibly helpful for those who feel full, bloated, or heavy after eating. Now, when this cleansing root is paired with raw honey, the synergy becomes even more profound. Honey adds warmth, moisture, and antimicrobial properties, balancing daikon's coolness without canceling it out. The result? A gentle syrup that works with your body's natural rhythm, rather than forcing it to perform. But here's the real beauty. This isn't just for flu season. This is for every time your digestion feels off and you can't quite explain why. For those moments when you're not sick, but not fully well. When your gut feels sluggish, when you clear your throat too often, or when the air feels thick and hard to breathe, especially in the colder months. That's when honey daikon syrup steps in. It doesn't suppress symptoms, it listens, it clears, it restores. To prepare it is simple. Slice fresh daikon thinly, place it in a clean jar, and pour raw honey over it. Cover and refrigerate. In just a few hours, the daikon will begin to release its juices, creating a syrup that you can take by the spoonful. It's safe, mild, and deeply effective, especially when taken first thing in the morning or after meals. And for those over 60, when digestion slows, when mucus clings, and when immunity wanes, this becomes more than a remedy. It becomes a daily act of care, of tuning into your body's quieter symptoms before they become louder issues. Now, some may ask, is this too strong for me? And here's the beauty of food-based medicine: it adapts. You don't need to gulp it. A teaspoon is enough. Your body doesn't need more force, it needs more presence, more listening, more intention, more of these quiet combinations that work behind the scenes. This is not just about clearing coughs or aiding digestion. This is about choosing rituals that don't just manage symptoms, they build resilience. Because after 60, resilience isn't built in hospitals or pharmacies. It's built in the kitchen, in the small things we choose to do every day. And this syrup, it's one of the smallest, kindest choices you can make. So if you've been feeling like your meals sit heavy, or if winter has left a lingering congestion in your chest, consider this your daily ally. A jar in the fridge, a spoon on the counter, a signal to your body. I hear you, I'm helping. I'm not ignoring the signs anymore. Let's keep moving, because in the next section, we bring it all together. The final message behind the pain, and how even one gentle shift in your evening habits could transform the way your body rests, heals, and feels in the days to come. What they don't tell you about honey. You know what's more important than what you eat? How and when you eat it. That simple truth, often dismissed as old-fashioned, holds more healing power than most medicine cabinets, especially when it comes to honey. Because honey is not just a sweetener, it's a biological messenger. And the way you treat it determines whether it becomes a remedy or simply another sugar in your day. Let's start with something most people don't realize. Never take honey on an empty stomach. Why? Because honey is a predigested sugar. Its enzymes, minerals, and antibacterial properties are designed to support your digestion and immunity when your body is already in a state of calm and flow. But when taken on an empty stomach, especially in the morning, it can trigger an insulin spike or gut discomfort, particularly in people over 60 whose metabolic rhythm is more delicate. It's not about removing honey. It's about honoring the rhythm of when your body can receive it best. Now let's talk about temperature. Many of us grew up with the idea of hot honey tea, boiling water, and a spoonful of golden syrup. But here's the truth. High heat destroys the living enzymes that make honey medicinal. Those enzymes are heat-sensitive proteins that support immune balance, digestive regulation, and even tissue healing. Once destroyed, honey becomes just another form of fructose, still sweet but stripped of its ancient healing gifts. So what's the alternative? Warm water, not hot, just enough to comfort the throat and carry the honey in. This small shift protects its power. And now let's move to rhythm. Because honey is best received not just in warmth, but in stillness. If you eat honey while stressed, rushing, multitasking, your digestion is already compromised. Your nervous system is in sympathetic mode, fight or flight, which shuts down digestive enzymes and prevents nutrient absorption. But when you take a moment, light a candle, sit with your tea, let your breath slow, you create the inner environment honey was made for. This is not spiritual fluff. It's biology. It's the parasympathetic system, rest and digest, allowing food to become nourishment, not just intake. And let's not forget tools. Never store or serve honey with metal. Use wooden or glass utensils. Because metal oxidizes, and honey, being acidic, can react with it over time, degrading both its quality and safety. This is why traditional kitchens used clay pots or glass jars and wooden dippers that honored the natural vibration of the food itself. In modern terms, it's a small, smart upgrade. It's how you treat something that you know matters. So let's put this together. Honey is not fast food, it's slow medicine. If you take it first thing in the morning, let it follow something warm, a bit of oats, a sip of broth, or even warm water with lemon. If you're using it in tea, wait until the water cools enough to dip a finger in comfortably. If you're taking it before bed for sleep or digestion, do it with intention. Soft lights, quiet surroundings, a calm breath. These are not rituals of superstition. These are rituals of repair, the kind that older bodies especially respond to, because healing after 60 depends not just on what we eat, but how gently we receive it. And here's what may surprise you most. Your body already knows this. That warm craving before bed, that reflex to slow down when sipping tea, that's your nervous system asking for stillness. Your gut asking for rhythm, your cells asking for peace. When we ignore those cues, when we rush, heat too high, or eat without presence, we not only miss the benefit of honey, we send our bodies into imbalance. But when we listen, truly listen, we restore the deep conversation that aging invites us into. The one where food becomes medicine, where time becomes an ally, where our habits begin to align with healing. So, if you've been using honey every day but still feeling foggy, tired, or bloated, don't blame the honey. Look at the how. Look at the when. Look at the pace of your day and the presence of your heart. Because the same teaspoon that does nothing rushed may do everything when taken with care. One sip, one moment, one breath at a time. Now, as we close this journey, we move toward the final, gentle summary, the message behind the pain. Because cramps, tension, poor sleep, and slow digestion are not random, they're the body's whisper. And just ahead, we'll bring all these insights into a single, quiet truth that might just change the way you care for yourself this season. Let's walk there softly. Section 3. Listen to the sweet signal. Honey isn't just sweet, it's symbolic. It reminds us to slow down, to heal with intention. And that's where this journey brings us home, not to more knowledge, but to more noticing. Because the biggest mistake isn't in the honey. It's in the habit of combining things without thought, of rushing into health like it's a race instead of a ritual. Across this video, we've uncovered truths that many of us never knew we were missing. How honey mixed with soy can confuse digestion. How green tea's tannins can rob iron when paired poorly. How onion and honey, though viral online, can irritate aging guts. And how timing, temperature, and stillness change honey's impact completely. Yet here's the most important truth of all. The honey wasn't the problem. Our pace was. Most of us over 60 aren't lacking remedies, we're lacking rhythm. We add honey out of habit, not out of harmony. We drink it too hot. We stir it too fast. We pair it without listening. And in doing so, we dilute not just the healing potential of honey, but the deeper wisdom of our bodies. If your digestion feels unpredictable or your sleep uneven, if you've told yourself this is just aging, please hear this softly. It may not be age. It may be one ingredient, one pairing, one ritual out of alignment. So here's the tender empowerment I'll leave with you. You don't have to change everything. You don't need a new diet or a shelf of supplements. You need one spoonful with presence, one pairing with care, one step toward rhythm. And from that one step, you'll feel your body respond, not overnight but deeply. Like a garden blooming not because you forced it, but because you finally gave it time and warmth. If this video lit something up inside you, maybe a memory, maybe a curiosity, I'd be honored if you'd share it. Leave a comment with your favorite honey ritual and subscribe to Defiant Health. I'm walking this path with you, working to reach 1,000 subscribers, not for numbers, but so I can keep building this space of calm, truth, and gentle science for those of us walking the second half of life. Let's keep growing stronger together, one breath, one bite, one loving choice at a time.